majority of that one, 8 or 10 grams, comes from lightweight. Just to have the same engine or smaller engine, but less weight.
Okay.
And one thing is really changing the material. And so steel, change it or replace it through aluminum. Or aluminum, change it through composite materials. That's also coming. Particularly composite is on the premium cars. And the aluminum is significantly more challenging to weld than the steel. So that's why they go onto different bonding technologies, and that's the adhesive. The weighted adhesive is growing so strongly.
Does the epoxy technology work well for the aluminum bonding, or does it polyurethane?
Yes, it works very well. No, it's nearly all epoxy.
Okay,
you have also some acrylics, but it works very well.
If you're going to say a plastic or some type of composite, that's more of an opportunity for the PU just due to the temperature sensitivity of the substrates?
Definitely, yeah. When you go on a different bonding technology, if you go to composites or to plastics, yes, there you have different. You have more choices, than epoxy, because the epoxy adhesive usually is very, very hard. It's harder than the polyurethane adhesives. And for the substrates that require more flexibility, like the plastic substrates, because we can bend them, and it's not as hard as the metal body frame. Polyurethane is a better choice than epoxy, just from the flexibility point of view, from the technology. So, but in the body, that's dominated by epoxy, and will be dominated by epoxy.
Thomas, any other problems or improvements that you'd like for us to know about?
On the, when we look at when we look on the adhesives on a broader range, where problems, issues, where more innovation is required, is on the metal parts adhesives, and it is, for instance, you have on the one hand you have the body frame, that is standardized, and I said I didn't get a sense when you talk to them that there's really an urgent need for innovation. However, it looks different on the UV curing epoxy systems that are coming more and more into automotive applications. But this is not for the body. It is for metal parts that you glue together, or even also plastic parts that you need to glue together, and that you really cure via UV light. And there's a lot of challenging that the market needs to overcome, but the UV curing technology in automotive, I truly believe this will grow very strongly. Of course, the market is not as big as the structural adhesive market. It's significantly smaller, but that could be an interesting niche application to look at, because their flexibility, bending, the technology is completely different to what you have in the structural adhesives. There might be really an opportunity for innovation, and also for your product. That could be something interesting. And it's also, because that doesn't go directly to the OEMs, it goes more to the tier 2s, who actually supply the ready-made box, or the ready-made mirror frame or whatever. They have bumpers or lights, to the OEMs. It's easier to get into. The market is more diverse. There are different players, but it might be an easier entry, into this application then into the mass application